Anyway, this is not an appropriate way to introduce, to approve, to finalize a set of regulations on a whole new technology that will enable the further and faster build-out of shale gas fracking. People here should be allowed to hear other people's comments. We already have access to the DEC regs. People should be, if they want valid information, they should be looking toward other sources of information, because it's obvious that the DEC is promoting the industry. They are no longer concerned with environmental conservation. My very strong recommendation is that people not ask questions, but submit comments. Treat this as a public hearing, and if they are not recording it, you have it. You can submit it in written form, either now or in Albany, sometime before the 4th. But do not give them the chance to waste your time with their assurances that this is a completely safe technology, because it's not. A far more appropriate technology when we're in the midst of global warming, accelerating global warming, would be, for instance, thermal storage, as they've set up in Germany and Canada in particular sites, where they collect heat with solar collectors, water solar collectors, feed them to a humongous storage tank, super insulated, so that it holds the heat for 3 seasons out of the year. And when the heating season comes back in, the heat is fed back into the houses. That's an appropriate technology for this age of accelerating global technology. That's my comment.
Are there any questions that relate to the preceding presentation?
Yes. My name is Mary Pace, and I'm a nurse. And I was looking through the regs.
Turn that on.
Okay. I do have a question. My name is Mary Pace, and I'm a nurse. And I've been looking at extreme fossil fuel extraction for several years now. And I was looking through the regs last night. And you just spoke a lot about the NYSDEC study that you're basing everything on going forward. The NYSDEC study, as I saw referenced as justification for these regs, referenced multiple times, was the only study I saw as justification for these regs. And you keep referring to it as the NYSDEC study. I think it would be more appropriate to rename it. I went to the DEC website and looked at that study, which says New York State Liquefied Natural Gas 6 NYCRR Part 570 Promulgation Support Study. The letterhead says, however, expansion energy. NYSDEC didn't do the study. NYSDEC subbed the study out to Expansion Energy, and on their website, welcome to Expansion Energy. We are a developer and licensor of breakthrough technologies designed to substantially improve the way energy industry and related industries operate, leading to a more efficient and more profitable companies. So everything you're basing these regs on is based on an industry study, and one of their areas of expertise is cryogenics, which is what liquid natural gas storage is all about. So I want to ask you why the only study I see here referenced is from industry, and there's no public health studies, there's no studies on climate change. Everything is based on this one study. And I'd like to see it renamed not the NYSDEC study, but the Expansion Energy Study. Thank you.
Your question seems more of a comment to me. Thank you. Any comments regarding the studies? No, I did hear and understand your question. I'll ask our panel. Do we have a response to that?
The question was, why are there no other studies?
Other studies, I do understand that.
When we were completing the draft of the regulation, one of the things that we needed to know was to be able to move forward, to be able to complete requirements under the State Administrative Procedures Act is to get various information about projections. How many facilities would there be? How many jobs might there be? What would be the cost and so forth? So we needed to be able to answer those questions and be able to answer the question, what is the state of the art of LNG management in the country? So we went to basically NYSDEC because they have the resources available. They have connections with people who are experts in the field. They do business in the field, and they were prepared to answer those questions. So they could tell us objectively what listen to how I'm explaining it. The question was, what are other states doing?
No, that wasn't our question. I'm sorry, whose question was that?
Our question. It was our question. We needed to know what is being done to properly manage LNG across the country. So we engaged them through NYSDEC to be able to answer that question and to provide the information that we needed to move forward with the other requirements and do the various job projections. That was the scope that we needed, and that's why we used the tool, and that was the tool that was available to us.
But if I just may add, your mission is to promote the responsible development of resources protecting the public health. And by taking just an industry study, they have no regard for public health. Their bottom line is to promote the industry and make money. So I have an issue for
Thank you once again. That was a comment, and really this.
Isn't the question, why was there no health study? How's this going to affect my... That was what her question was that second time. Why was there no health study? Or environmental impact study, really?
So the law is very clear about what the regulation has to address. It has great emphasis upon making sure that LNG is stored and transported safely. So when we went through our requirements of doing the study of finding out how it is managed across the country, our result was to find that throughout the country, uniformly, people rely upon very extensive fire protection standards from the National Fire Protection Association that are incorporated into local regulations, building and fire codes. And so that's what we were planning on doing ourselves. And as we pointed out, those requirements actually already exist, and they apply across the board. So the reason why no health study was done is because these facilities are focusing on storage of liquefied natural gas and not in producing it in ways that would impact the public health. So we did not do a public health study because there wasn't a need for it.
Because you say there is no
Environmental codes are not even available publicly. You have to join the association in order to gain access to the code.
That's not true.
You should be putting that on your website.
We can't because of copyright requirements. But any one of you could go to the NFPA and see the code.
No, I've already done that. It's not
easily browsable. He's right.
It's available.
Available if you join the association.
You shouldn't incorporate intellectual property into the law. The law is public information.
We make it available. Sitting over on the table.
Sir, would you take a seat, please?
There's other members of the media that are standing.
They are not commenting or participating in this discussion.
Do I give up my rights of citizenship when I hold a camera?
I would ask you, if you wish to participate, to get in line at one of the microphones. Does someone have a question? Sir?
I believe one of your slides said that part of the Energy Board report was that the safety of LNG is similar to the safety of other fuels. This flies in the fact of even a general reader such as myself. I'd like to know why a fuel that has to be kept near the temperature of liquid, or in the regime of the temperature of liquid nitrogen under pressure, and is subject to 3 different modes of explosion: the so-called bleed explosion, the catastrophic failure of pressure explosion, as well as conventional ignition explosion. Why these materials could be considered as equivalent to other fossil fuels, and how they could be regulated successfully with fire codes in the absence of engineering specifications of temperature, pressure, and such things as adequate deadhead space in the tank to avoid catastrophic rises in pressure, requiring catastrophic venting or explosive expansion of gas.
All right. So let me try and pull those apart a little bit here. So the first question was, why is it considered similar to other petroleum fuels? And I'm going to make sure I got that question correct.
In light of what I said about the nature of LNG versus conventional fuels.
Okay, so first let's clarify one thing. LNG and CNG are different natural gases. CNG is underneath pressure. LNG is kept cold at near atmospheric pressure. It is not pressurized. CNG is pressurized to, I'm trying to remember, something like 1,000 psi or something. 4,600. I know it's much higher. LNG is not at high pressure comparatively. It's at near atmospheric. The reports took a look at the various physical properties of LNG and the types of things that could go on, and they found that there is not any other large safety differentials other than the fact that it's cold. It's the storage of a fuel. I invite you, if you don't get to see a copy otherwise, a copy is on the table. You can actually go through and take a look at how they arrived at that result, saying that it has similar characteristics and similar safety concerns as other fuels.
Well, if you've ever seen a picture of a tanker of oil catch fire and explode, and then compare that to a recent YouTube from China of an LNG tanker exploding inside a tunnel. This was a catastrophic loss of pressure and temperature inside the tunnel, which produced a huge cloud of methane, which then ignited when it encountered running vehicles. And the results were truly beyond anything you would expect of a tanker fire from gas.
If you had a tanker of gas that ruptured inside that tunnel?
I'm saying oil, I'm sorry.
I'm saying motor fuel. You're saying gas and LNG are extremely different. I pretend to you that if you had, instead of a tanker of LNG in China, that had been a tanker of gasoline that had ruptured and had formed the explosive cloud, you'd probably have very similar results.
Are you sure? Are you familiar with the relative vapor pressures of LNG and gasoline?
I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on all of the explosive nature. I would also say that we're not going to know without doing an experiment of doing something like that. I'm saying that there are a lot of similarities, and that is what the report came up to. You can look around the world and you can find bad accidents that happen with gasoline, with LNG, with propane. There's accidents that happen out there. Nobody's going to sit down and say that every single thing that we do in this world is safe. The question is, can we handle things safely? Are there appropriate safeguards that can be put in place? And it goes to your second question of looking at the NFPA standards and why would those NFPA standards be considered to be appropriate safeguards? One, I encourage everybody, you can go on the NFPA website. I walk people through it. They call me up and say, I can't get it, I have to be a member. I walk them to the website, I show them click by click. They can get there, they can read it, it's all available for free. You can get there without having to be a member of any association. If you have trouble with that, as much as I don't want to tell everybody to call me, if you need help learning how to use the website, I can do it for you just as I did for anybody else, and take you click by click to get you there so you can read it.
I haven't been on the association website, but I have explored this in other documents. And the firefighter in response to an imminent leaf explosion is God.
Ma'am? Good question.
My understanding, I know you're not my question, just to Ross. I'm really interested in your narrative about the 1973 accident. You rightly point out that it took place during the May. This was a 100-year structure, the concrete roof, and when it exploded, the concrete roof flew into the air 10 to 20 feet, and then crashed down on the workers and crushed them to death. That's how the 40 people died. The determination that was then made later on was that methane had leaked behind the liner, and due to human error, had been detonated inside the tank. The fire chief of New York City at the time was so horrified by what happened that he made it his personal business to keep LNG out of the New York State for the rest of his career, and he was joined in his efforts by many elected officials of Staten Island. So are you now denying that methane played a role in the 1973 explosion and that those 40 workers? Because it sounds like you're attributing that problem to something other than methane. After all, it's a vaporous form of liquefied natural gas.
So, thank you. The 1998 report from NYSDEC is actually over on the table, and I encourage you to go and take a look at it because they did do an extensive review and take a look at it. The tank had been out of service for quite a while, about a year, 10 months. Okay. It was out of service for a while. The tank had been empty. People were inside the tank. They were in the process of repairing that tank. The 1998 NYSDEC report, the Energy Board report, talked about some uncertainty of exactly what happened. They had a couple of theories. The bottom line is, over that time of time lapse that occurred, we're not going to have a lot of certainty of exactly what happened. So the thing that you're suggesting of methane being trapped and still being inside the tank 10 months after it been out of service, that they've been repairing and taking the lining down and worked on the tank, so that reported into what seems logical. It doesn't seem like methane would have congregated. It was lighter than air, it had been vapor-free, the tank had been worked in for quite a while.
Was it inside the insulating line? That's between
That's not what NYSDEC concluded.
It's not the report from NYSDEC.
So you're denying the results of the initial investigation and replacing it with another cause of the accident?
I'm saying that there was a study that was done, commissioned by the state legislature back in 1998, that calls into question some of those things and says that we're not going to have complete certainty. They did put together a couple of theories and some processes that would have caused the exact reaction that occurred. But in terms of looking at this as an LNG tank explosion, the tank had been empty, it had been out of service for 10 months, as you pointed out. It wasn't a tank storing LNG that went boom. It was an empty tank where there was a maintenance accident, a human error, as you said, that occurred that has some catastrophic results.
To reiterate, the failure to detect this leaks, and so methane accumulated in the insulation behind the liner that was sufficient to create blast to lift the concrete roof 100 feet up in the air, 10 more feet up in the air, crashing on tenants and workers. On a separate note, I would like your number to help me walk through fire protection codes, because I also am not able to access them on my Mac. But I have your number.
Why don't you see me afterwards?
No, I'd like your number to be off.
Sure, why not? I'm at 518 area code, 402-9553, and perhaps if folks would like to give me your email address, and I can type up a set of directions with click by click of how to get there, so that I don't just sit at my desk telling people how to work a website. And I can put that up together and email out to anybody so that you have access to that standard.
Or you can put it on the website with the regulations as well.
Yeah, we could do that.
And could you spell your last name for us?
It's on the paper that was floating around. So, you need one? All right. Brock's is my last name, spelled B-R-A-U-K-S-I-E-C-K.
Is the gateway to bring the heavy industry by traffic into our communities. That's the word upstate from Montreal.
Do you have a question, sir?
I have to do this one. He should not be required to ask this question. The gas pumps are exempt by state regulations. If it's so safe, why are exemptions? And my question is, we know it's not safe, you know it's not safe, why are you encouraging this to bring on more hydrocracking to our communities? You know that there's some underlying factors you're encouraging this. Brock assured me that this is treated as a hearing, that people can submit comments.
This is
As well as questions, that we were not be required to ask questions.
Hi, I'm an attorney on this project, PEC. It's not a public hearing, just to clarify. Written comments are certainly accepted now and all the way through November 4th, but oral comments will be accepted at the public hearing Albany on the 30th. So,
whether or not you are accepting, whether or not you are recording the comments, people should still be allowed to make comments. They should not be required to simply ask a question.
You know, our primary role here is to be able to explain the regulations so people understand accurately what it does and what it doesn't do. That's why we're putting emphasis on people asking questions. We want to make sure that the information about the regulations is out there and that it's accurate. So rather than do this as an opportunity for people just to provide comments, we want people to have the opportunity to get the information. The ability to provide comments is there. You go over to the table right now and put in your written comment. You can come to the hearing and we will record any oral comments at that time with the stenographer to have it accurately. But our job right now, our requirement under the law, we are here because the law requires us to be here to promulgate this regulation. And we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get the straight information on the regulation. That's why we're putting emphasis on questions.
Does the law call for only one hearing in the whole state for this technology?
one hearing, yes.
What's a minimum?
And it was not spelled out that only questions would be allowed. Brocksett did not say that. Brocksett said comments would also be made.
Written comments.
Okay.
You can call us, you know, we're all friends here.
Thank you. Please.
Sir, Craig Stevens, I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, Silver Township. I'm also on Syracuse, North Bureau of Fifth Generation Worker. Don't be opposed to this question, but I have a couple related to the slide presentation. Why are you calling it a fire? That's something you knew I live. Williams had 5 compressor stations explode and light on fire within 15 months. That's 1 every 3 months. And every time it was in the paper, they called it a flash fire. You know what the first responders called it? An explosion that rattled windows and broke things up to a mile away. So I would appreciate you calling that an explosion, because a flash fire doesn't lift a cement roof off a building 100 feet in the air, 10 feet up, and then fall and break it easy, so the pressure would down. So this is a explosion, it's not a fire. Number two, they already knew about this. The group blast existed before they were working on that, and they tried to warn everybody involved in the project, and then it killed 40 people. That's why the LNG has stayed out of New York State, because right now you're having people trying to give you guys information on the safety side of this, and it looks like a fast track. I'll go to the second point. LNG safety, same as any other fuel, opportunities for cleaner fuel. Are you aware that this fuel is not as clean as you would like to think it is? Because after my neighbors were all on the other end of this, when they drove for this natural gas and methane that they turn into liquefied natural gas, there are some problems we're having in Pennsylvania. And if you haven't come down to see it, I give tours every day. Feel free to come down if you have any people. Third, LNG upstate only, not New York City. Try that one on. It's called the Constitution of the United States. You cannot protect one location of a state where the country cannot protect everyone. Interstate transportation of LNG. You said the DOT does not do route certification, and there's no existing retail production transportation. Here's the problem I'm having, and I'll guide you to the Constitution pipeline starts where I live and comes to Albany. Now, it looks like it only goes from point A to point B, but after point B, it splits off and goes to the port in Long Island and a port in Boston. So, this is not an intrastate. Every bit of this infrastructure goes all over, including to, and you know this for the website, there's the 33 export terminals that exist in North America that are being put in. 3 already have been approved, 22 in the United States alone. So none of this, it comes out of the ground where I live, but you know. And the question is, if you know that this is going to go all over the world and be exported, then it's everybody's business, including the federal government. It's not just a state business. And let me get to my question here. So my focus today is, I'm here to learn about what you're doing. And that first slide presentation was a question. So state of the art. Other states rely on building and fire codes. In Susquehanna County, where I live, are you aware that they just redid the emergency management plan for Susquehanna County in 2012? Out of the 112 pages in it, 40 pages are dedicated directly to natural gas, including its storage, transportation, and the drilling for it. You should read it. It's very easy to get. SUSQ, CO.com, SusquehannaCounty.com. You'll learn a lot more than I'm probably going to learn here, because if New York State has no idea what's coming with all this transportation, storage, and the explosions and fires and air and water contamination that come with it, I once again encourage you to come down and see what's really happening for the last 10 years in Pennsylvania, not what theoretically might happen here. Now, price convergence. Okay, the price convergence of petroleum and natural gas reposition. This is a simple fallacy. I will refer to the website again. Right now, all natural gas and anything from liquefied to CNG is based on the Henry Hub price, because natural gas can't be trucked. It's trapped in the United States and North America. Read that the value of my natural gas invested in my property has gone from $14 per thousand of overhead down to $2 last year, and now it's climbed back up to $3. What do you think? I'm asking the DEC. What do you think is going to happen when we start exporting this and we're competing with that same gas, America's fuel? When we start to compete with China and India and Russia and Norway and Japan and others are all lined up to take it. This fallacy of inexpensive fuel is not going to become very expensive, and we're going to be competing for it. So I don't ever want to hear anybody talking about how low prices exist. And I'll read the last one from your slide presentation. We talked about the local emergency response evaluation of theirs to where we live. They surround it and let it burn. They don't get near it when it's on fire, because one, the source is still there. And liquefied natural gas. So have any of you looked at the site lngdanger.com? Please look at it. That is a group since 2002. These are 2 lawyers in California that have fought 14 LNG import-export terminals, and they won every one of them all over the world. is, this is probably the most dangerous fuel you can imagine, besides lowering the temperature to 259 degrees, which compacts it. As soon as you have a pinhole leak, it starts to come out. It's heavier than air, it drops to the ground, and expands. Any ignition source, a muffler and tailpipe, somebody smoking a cigarette, will light it and lead it back to the original source. And if you haven't seen it, you can Google it, but on the LNG danger. When it reaches that source, that liquefied fuel, and it ignites it, the equivalent to one of these LNG tankers offshore, 1,000 feet long, 300 feet wide, has been said to be 55 Hiroshimas when it goes off. 55 Hiroshima atomic bombs. Please do not placate us by telling us that this is going to be less expensive for us when we switch all the trucks over. Because if you want to do that, have any of you Googled what a explosion looks like on a vehicle with any kind of tank, CNG, LNG, anything on it? It will take out an entire block of the neighborhood when it explodes. I certainly don't want my children's school bus driving next to some vehicle that has an accident and explodes and incinerates it. So I'm looking and listening because I'm learning today. I want to learn from what your presentation is, and I will be at the 30th to be able to comment. I'm trying to do questions based on what you did. My focus is going to be, where is the safety portion of this? Where is it? Because as far as I can see, the storage under pressure of any of these types of fuel sources can turn out good, and it only has to be once. I will direct you to your first statement, the explosion in 1973. That was 40 years ago, and the regulations to not have it here are still in place. There is a reason, because when first responders came into that event, no matter whether it was liquefied natural gas in there or a leak in the insulating portion of it, who cares? 40 people lost their lives. You know what? I'll end with this. Has any of you ever seen a flash fire or an explosion happen, or the taking of mass casualties of life from a solar panel farm or a wind farm? I've never seen it before. If you find it,